It may surprise you to know that your child was born with around 100 billion brain cells, almost all of the neurons he or she will have for their entire lifetime. Over the first year of life, your child's brain has been growing, nearly doubling in size, and by 12 months old, it begins the enormous task of building and strengthening the synaptic connections between each of these billions of cells. Children's brains can have as many as 15,000 synaptic connections per neuron, meaning that the number of connections in your child's brain easily equals the number of stars in the Milky Way galaxy. These connections are important because they define your child's perceptions and their thinking abilities. The critical period of synaptic growth between 12 and 18 months will shape the way that your child's brain functions for the rest of their lives. Your child's daily experiences, both positive and negative, will lay a foundation for their future happiness, resilience, confidence, and success. That is why it is so important to take advantage of this explosion of brain growth with play. Children learn the best through play and their direct interactions with you and their environment. So in today's video, I'm going to show you some fun and easy ways to play with your toddler. So let's hop to it and talk about some toddler play. One of the best ways to strengthen and encourage the growth of synaptic connections in your child's brain is through sensory play. Children learn through their senses, and by exposing them to many unique experiences, you are in turn encouraging their brains to grow. Sensory play has been shown to support language development, strengthen motor skills, encourage problem solving, and even improve social interactions among small children. One of my favorite sensory ideas is oobleck. You can make oobleck by mixing cornstarch and water, and the result is a sensory stimulating goo that feels like a mix between slime and kinetic sand. It's completely safe if your child tastes it, and it easily washes off with water, leaving behind no stains or residues. Another fun sensory play idea is to offer your child some uncooked rice in a bowl. You can color it with food dye if you want to make it a little bit extra, toss in some child-safe spoons and measuring cups, and they can practice pouring and mixing to their heart's content. Be sure to offer up lots of new vocabulary to your child as you talk about the activities together. The oobleck is gooey, the jello is cold, the Play-Doh is sticky, etc. If you're worried about messes, try to move your sensory activities outside or onto a plastic sheet for easier cleanup. And realize that it may be a while before your child learns proper sensory bin etiquette, but if you're consistent in your guidance, it won't be long before they learn to keep everything contained and sensory play becomes one of your favorite occupiers. As you may have already noticed, there is a huge explosion of growth occurring in your child's language centers as well. Your child is literally learning new words and meanings by the hour. You can take advantage of this vocabulary explosion and increase your child's exposure to language by keeping an ongoing narrative with them throughout the day. Describe what they are doing and seeing using as many unique words as possible. While language development is instinctual, you can support your child's desire to communicate with you by responding positively to their attempts. Early attempts at communicating might look like pointing, grunting, or gazing at objects of desire. Your job is to turn these behaviors into language. For instance, if your child is grunting or crying at your cup of water, you might say something like, "Oh, I see that you're thirsty. Would you like a drink?" And then follow up by fulfilling the need. The gratification your child feels from his successful work at communicating will encourage him to continue making attempts at it. Your positive reinforcement will encourage him to continue trying, and soon he will be using real words to express his needs. Another great tool for increasing vocabulary and language are these First 100 Words books. There are so many different versions of these, but they all basically do the same thing. They are filled with lots of bright pictures of common items. We use these books in several ways. In the early days, I simply go through them with my child, pointing at objects and saying their names. I also use word association cues when talking about the items. For instance, on the animal page, I will say things like, "Look at the cow. Cow. Moo, moo." The cow says, "Moo." Cow. Moo, moo. Eventually, we move on to games concerning the pictures. For instance, I will ask,
"Where are the keys?" "There's the keys." Keys, yeah.
"Can you point to the tree?" Or, "What sound does the doggy make?" When you start doing these simple question games with your child, you may be astonished to learn that their understanding of language is much greater than you might have imagined. Games like these are so fun, and they allow you an insight into your child's cognitive abilities. You can easily extend this out of the book and into real life as well. For instance, when it's time to leave the house, I will ask my son to bring me his shoes, and I'm still amazed when he goes and gets them. I know it won't be long before he starts talking up a storm, but we are kind of on the cusp of that, and these little communication breakthroughs are so relieving and connecting.
Can you smell the flowers? Aww. Who's here? Hi.
You may also notice that your child's motor development is becoming more precise during this time. Children between 12 and 15 months of age will particularly enjoy stacking or building toys, as well as items that make noise. So get down on the floor, build and knock down block towers, offer up maraca shakers, and pull out your pots and pans and let your toddler bang to their heart's content. Each of these activities will encourage specific types of motor development, while also reinforcing the ideas of cause and effect. Another fun skill to work towards is getting dressed. As your child approaches 18 months, he or she will begin to exhibit the motor control necessary for dressing. You can ask your child to help you as you change their clothing. Use specific directives like push your arm into the sleeve or let's pull up your pants together, and then give your child time to carry out the action. Soon, they will be taking charge in this area of self-care. There are other areas of practical life that your child can excel in at this age as well. For instance, children between 12 and 18 months can become quite skilled at using a spoon or fork and drinking from an open cup as long as they are given the opportunity to practice. They can also help in cleaning, sweeping, cooking, putting toys away, and even brushing their own hair and teeth, with your guidance, of course. And they tend to enjoy these responsibilities. 1-year-olds love to mimic the actions they see around them, so now's the prime time to model all of the good behaviors you want your child to pick up on. Finally, 12 to 18 months is a wonderful time for emotional development as well. For the first time, your child will recognize his own reflection when he looks into a mirror. He might enjoy making funny faces with you or checking out the way his body moves. He will also begin to recognize the emotions of others, expressing sadness if he sees someone crying or laughing along with you at something amusing. Now is the prime time to begin giving words to your child's strong emotions. So if they are tantruming, try to identify the emotion that sparked the tantrum and speak that to your child. Say things like, you're mad, you are frustrated, to help them connect their feelings with language and give them the ability to share that with you. Your child will also start to actively express love during this time period, so be sure to soak in all of the cuddles and kisses that your little one throws your way. The neurological explosion taking place in your 12 to 18-month-old is so fun and exciting to see. Over this 6-month period, you will watch your child change from a baby into a toddler. They will start walking, talking, and letting their personality shine. It's such a fun time to bond with your baby, and I hope that you will take advantage of all of these opportunities for play. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to connect with me over on Instagram, and I will see you in the next video. Adios.